Welcome to the Kentucky Castle in DAVOS in the Bluegrass. On behalf of Anthony Lage and the Crowds Line, I'd like to welcome you. My name is Kevin Trimble. A year ago, I had an interesting job as a U.S. Marine, and someone said, what could be as challenging and as much fun as being a U.S. Marine? And kind of never thought about working with two football legends on an internet college football show every week, supporting a company like the Crowds Line, and it's been exciting. But I will tell you, we're back in the Bluegrass. We have people together. We have old friends. And just so everybody knows old friends, watch this show of hands. If you ever played Catholic grade school football in Louisville, raise your hand. All right, so when the adult supervision leaves, Coach, we're gonna clear the chairs out. We're going at it. So our first guest that we're going to talk about really needs no introduction, but I'm going to give him a little one. And here it is, just so you know. This gentleman graduated with a BA in history from Kent State University, followed that up by earning a master's degree from the University of Iowa in education. And he then used that education to spend the next 40 plus years as a teacher. And the title, though, was coach. And what I'm talking about is a legendary football coach. He's the only coach to ever lead 6 different schools to bowl games. Every time he took over a school, that team had a losing record the year before, and when he left, they had a winning program. He's an A-list broadcaster, as we know. He's a motivational speaker, as we know. He's an author, but more importantly, his life, he's a teacher, he's a mentor, and a coach. There's not a person in this room that could keep up with him on a day-to-day, weekly schedule. Trust me, you can't. But I will tell you, it's like I feel like young grasshopper with kung fu. Once a week, I get to listen to him. And you know what? It is energizing. It's wonderful. And without further ado, I'd like to introduce my friend, Coach Lou Holtz. And you can talk about this.
I don't like standing behind a podium, you're preaching, you're lecturing. I just want to share thoughts and ideas. Thank you, Kevin. That's type I can listen to all day. And like you, I thought I was going to have to. I think it was 8 minutes a day. Most memorable introduction I ever got, I was named Ohio Valley Man of the Year. My high school buddy gave me the award. He got up and he said, only in America could it happen. A guy born into poverty with hard work and dedication rose to become one of the most respected people in the country. He said, an individual is loved and admired by millions of people. He said, I could go on and on about me, but I'm here to talk about Lou Holtz. So after that introduction, I felt it was downhill. But I'm delighted to be here. I think everybody needs 4 things in your life. Everybody needs something to do, someone to love, someone to believe in, but you need something to hope for. When they came to me and asked me if I would do this TV show with Mark May, I was excited to do it. Because despite what you might think on TV, I have the utmost respect for Mark May. That guy is a professional, he's smart, he's intelligent, and I mean that sincerely. His mind is brilliant. He remembers names and statistics. It just amazed me over 11 years that we've done this, how good and talented he is. Despite that, he's often wrong, but that's not real important. As I say to you all the time, Mark, I'd love to agree with you, but if I did, we'd both be wrong. But they came to me and asked me to do this. And anything I'm going to be associated with, I want it to be the very best. I want it to make it the best we can. And I'm not a very complicated individual. 10% of you won't remember 10% of what I said 10 minutes after I said it. But just like King Henry VII said to his 3rd wife, I'm not going to keep you long. But just some things I want to share with you. And the main thing is, whatever we want to do, you have to have a purpose in life. Don't make the mistake I made. I've done a lot of dumb things, but dumbest thing I did. Went to the University of Notre Dame, took a program on the bottom, took it to the very top. For 9 straight years, we went to a January 1 bowl, the sugar, the cotton, the orange, or the fiesta. Nobody's done it before, nobody's done it since. We took it on top and we maintained it. It's the thing I regret more than anything else. There's a rule of life that says you're either growing or you're dying. The tree's either growing or it's dying, so is grass, so is a marriage, so is a business. Doesn't have a thing to do with age. I'm so old now, my birthday candles cost more than a cake. but it has everything to do, am I trying to get better? Am I trying to improve? Am I trying to raise? You get on top. We finished second in the country at Notre Dame. Everybody called me an idiot. That idiot finished second. Guy finished his last in medical school, they call him doctor. That doesn't seem fair, but because that, you say, this is pretty good. Let's not risk anything. Let's not check. Let's maintain. And anytime you maintain any phase of your life, you're really dying. When I left Notre Dame, I never thought I'd coach again. Where'd it go from Notre Dame? According to my mother, go directly to heaven. You sit by the Pope. You don't coach anymore. And then I went to live in a town where the average age is deceased. And what I found out, I wasn't tired of coaching. That's why everything has to start with a goal and a dream, and how can we get better? And we want to make this the very best we possibly can. We're totally committed to excellence in everything that we do. We constantly look at different ways we can improve it. We don't want to be fourth. We don't want to be third. We want to be first. Like anything else in this world, if you're going to do something, you do it to the very best of your ability, and you find out why you aren't number one, and you make whatever changes need to be done. If you have a goal, and if you really want to achieve something, we'll find a way. We'll find a way to make this thing ultra successful. If we care enough, if we want to do it bad enough, we will make this number one, trust me, because you'll find a way. Anything you want to do, you'll find a way. If you don't want to do something bad enough, you'll find excuses. The excuses are a lot easier to find than different solutions. But I have a very, very simple philosophy of life, and I only live by 3 rules. We complicate life. We don't have to. Do you realize there are only 7 colors of the rainbow? Look what Michelangelo did with 7 colors. There's only 7 musical notes. Look what Beethoven did with 7 musical notes. There's only 10 numbers. Look what Bernie Madoff did with 10 numbers. So I'm not saying it's good. What I'm saying is keep it simple. We complicate life. We don't have to. I try to keep life simple. When I was in the 2nd grade, and my dad had gone to a third grade education, was most he had. Nobody from our family had ever gone to college, let alone graduate. And it's about, what do you want to accomplish in life? In the 1st grade, Sister Mary Baptista is asking everybody, what do you want to be? I want to be a doctor, a lawyer. I want to be a policeman. I want to be a garbage collector. She said, that's weird. I said, but they only work on Tuesdays. I thought, good, yeah, work one day. That sounds good to me. But if you have the dreams, and as I say, I try to keep life as simple as I can. We have federal laws, county laws, state laws, corporate laws, bylaws, in-laws, and outlaws. We only need 3 laws. Law number 1 is do what's right. That's all. There's never right time to do the wrong thing, never wrong time to do the right thing. So let's just do the right thing. I think it's right to be honest, right to be on time. I think it's wrong to practice sexism, racism, spousal abuse. I think it's wrong to find a teammate's wallet before he lost it. That's called stealing, son. Yeah, I found his wallet, but he hadn't lost it yet. That's not right. But just trying to get people to do the right thing. And if you just stop and say, what's the right thing to do? I was an officer in the Army, and it's great working with Kevin and all the other military people. And I have great respect for the military. I remember when I was at William and Mary, we played the Naval Academy. Unfortunately, we had more Marys than we had Williams. But if you've ever been in Victory Stadium, it's a beautiful stadium, double-deck stadium, and on the balcony of the 2nd tier, they have the words Iwo Jima, Guadalcanal, Saipan, Bataan, Corregidor. We're warming up, our players said, boy, what a schedule they play. Just the mentality. But about every 2 or 3 years, I go visit the troops abroad. A year ago, June, I was in Korea on the DMZ zone at the request of General Vincent Brooks, a 4-star general, at Camp Casey, Camp Humphrey. 3 years ago, I was in Afghanistan. I didn't go where the politicians went. I went in the mountains. I went on a Black Hawk helicopter. I had to wear a 35-pound flak jacket the whole time. I had to wear a helmet. I had an expert rifleman with me the whole time. I got back, my wife said, were you ever scared? I said, not till I landed in Chicago. That's the first time I really got nervous. But, it's a sacrifice that the military people make that impresses me so much. In Korea, they're away from their families for 1 solid year. There's no vacation, there's no Christmas holiday, there's no birthdays, nothing else. It's a sacrifice. If you're going to make and be successful at anything, there has to be a sacrifice. Before I went into the combat zone, they gave me a questionnaire and said, who should we contact in case of emergency? I put down a doctor. You know, don't call my wife. She can't do anything. If it's an emergency, call a doctor. But it's just doing the right thing. And I cannot begin to emphasize how important that is. And, you know, I go to William and Mary under a guy by the name of DAVOS Pascal. And he wanted to join the ACC. We had the academics, the location. South Carolina had just left the ACC. We built a program to get in the ACC. We win the Southern Conference Championship my second year. DAVOS Pascal gets sick and resigns as president. They hire another guy as president. He wants to go Ivy League. Now, there's nothing wrong with that, but I wanted to compete against the best. I wanted to compete against the Bear Bryants, the Woody Hayes, people like that. And so I wanted to move on to an element because I did not have a future at William Mary for the goals and aspirations I wanted to achieve. And at the end of my second year, that summer, Earl Edwards retires from NC State. They name Al Michaels interim coach. NC State writes me and said, "We're interested in you, or are you interested in us?" I said, "Yeah, I'd be interested at the end of the year. But I will not talk to you during the season because it'd be unfair to our team." Just doing the right thing. I recruited these players. I should give them every opportunity to have a good year. But I really am interested. Well, we started out 4-0. We beat Tulane in our fourth game. I come back, NC State called, said, "We want to talk to you about the game, about the job here." I said, "I can't do that. It's unfair to our players." They said, "Well, if you won't talk to us, we can't consider you because signing date's the first Saturday in December, and if you aren't going to do it, if you're interested in a job, you're going to talk to us now." I said, "I'm sorry. I really hated to do that. It bothered me, but it was the right thing to do." Well, later in the year, we're playing North Carolina. They're 10-1. They had a great defense, had a great football team. We're playing them down there. And I lost our starting quarterback, Stevie Regan, had to use a little guy named John Gargano, but I had a great receiver named David Knight, played 7 years in the NFL. We went down, we played a great game offensively. We're never behind in the game. We're ahead 35-28, 3 minutes to go in the game. They have 3rd and 10 on their own 20. Paul Miller drops back just before we hit some left-handed, throws the ball as far as he can, bounces twice in front of me. The receiver jumps on it like it's a fumble. Mixed crew, Southern Cal rules incomplete, or the Southern Conference. ACC back judge who could not see it ruled it complete. The referee come up, said it's complete. I get 2 15-yard penalties back-to-back and did not use profanity. And that's hard to do. But in those days, they didn't throw you out of the game for 2 unnecessary roughness penalties. And they scored late in the game, 30 seconds ago, go for 2. Lewis Jolly catches a deflected pass. We lose 36-35. I go home. I walk in the door. NC State called. Said, "You know, we've been following you since you said no, and all we want to do is tell you what the job is. You don't have to interview, and if you tell us you're interested, we'll wait. If not, we'll move on. It's not an interview. The job's yours. Here's what it'll..." And it was great. I was so excited. I'm going to go to NC State. And lo and behold, the Monday of our last game at Quarterback Club, they gave me a new car. William and Mary Boosters gave me a new car. I said, "I can't keep that. It's not the right thing to do." "Oh, it's not to keep you here. It's for what you did." I said, "No, I can't take it." And so I never said a word and walked away. I came home from our last game. I walked in the house. My wife said, "Honey, you won't believe what happened today." She said, "At halftime, they called me out and gave me a new car." I said, "We can't keep it." She said, "They gave it to me, and I ain't giving it back." She said, "Furthermore, our car won't get us to Raleigh to take the job." And we drive off in their new car. And I know they're saying that wasn't the right thing to do. But the point I make, the reason I tell you the story, is because if you believe in something, stand by your principles. You will definitely win in the long run. And that was a prime example. I could give you 100 others about the same thing, but just doing what's right. The second rule we have is do everything to the very best of your ability. You know, not everybody can be All-American, not everybody All-Conference. Everybody can be the best they're capable of being. The difference between athletes today and 40 years ago, today all the athletes in society wants to talk about their rights and their privileges. 40 years ago, we talked about our obligations and our responsibilities. Now, I'm one of these old-fashioned people that believe you join a team, you join the military, you join a spouse, you join a company, you bring a child in the world. You have obligations, you have responsibilities. If you want to fail, you have the right to fail. Nobody has the right to cause somebody else to fail because you don't do everything to the very best of your ability. And that's all I ask people to do. And I've never been a disciplinarian. See, life is nothing more than choices. There's 400,000 words in the English vocabulary. The most important word by far is the word choice. And you choose whether you're going to act or procrastinate, believe or doubt, pray or curse, help or heal. As I just say, make good choices. And the one choice I want you to do, I've never disciplined anybody in my life. People say, well, you're number one and you're playing Southern Cal. They're number two. You're both 10-0. The morning of the game, I sent our leading ground gainer and our leading receiver home, put them on the airplane and flew them home that morning. When that plane took off, I said to myself, I swear not, Lou Holtz, that was a dumb thing to do. Should have put them on the bus. They got home in 4 hours. Should have taken them 4 days. They could really think about their trip. But I wasn't my choice for them not to play. They chose not to play when they made certain choices. You choose to do this, you're choosing not to play. To my children, you choose not to do your chores, you're choosing to stay in Saturday night. And so just make a choice. We're going to be the very best that we can possibly be with the time allotted and the finances available. And the third rule we have, which is so simple also, is just genuinely show people you care. All I ever tried to do with the football team was get people that would do the right thing, do the best they can, and care about one another. I'm going home tonight because my wife's on a feeding tube and she's on oxygen. She can't travel. We've been married 57 years. And so that tells you I'm an expert at following instructions. I know how to, I've been trained. And when I see some of the spouses here, I remember I coached at Ohio State. We won the national championship. Ohio National Bank had a big board sign that said, behind every successful person stands a very surprised mother-in-law. That's true in my case, may be true in yours as well, but and my wife says, how can you talk about caring about people? And we're opposites night and day. She said, opposites attract and then attack. And she doesn't have a sense of humor, and she left me a note. Said, Lou, I can't please everybody in the world, so I'm going to stop trying. And I'm going to focus on pleasing one person a day. And today's not your day, and tomorrow doesn't look real promising either. But she's done one interview in her life because it had to do with cancer. She's had stage 4 squamous cell carcinoma of the throat. And they asked her, what'd you learn from having cancer? She said, I learned how much my family loved me. You think about that. We didn't love her anymore, but we showed it. And if you develop a love and a feeling and a caring in a business, in an organization where people care about one another, aren't going to let one another down. You don't have to like the same music, the same clothes, but you have the same goals, the same aspirations, you care about them. My wife said, how can you talk about caring about people with a bumper sticker on your car? I got a bumper sticker on my car. We go to church 8 o'clock, and she makes me park in the back of the lot and back it in so people can't see it. Bumper sticker said, Jesus loves you. Everybody else thinks you're an asshole. I thought it was funny. I'll be at a red light. People get out of the car and take a picture of my bumper sticker. But those are the only 3 things I've ever tried to do, evaluate personnel and how you build a team together, how you raise their self-image, how you get people to feel. Every time I've gone into a losing situation, a group of people that aren't confident, and they criticize everybody else, they want to see everybody else fail so they look better by comparison. The key is to raise the self-image of our children, raise the self-image of our players, of our employees. And you don't do it by making their life easier, by telling them phony things. You have standards. You give them something they can do, and you demand they do it. And those are the only 3 rules I've ever had. There's a statue of it Notre Dame. I guess they need a place for the pigeons to land. I don't know, but if you look at it, look at the statue pedestal. 3 words, trust, love, and commitment. That's all. It's that simple. And as I get ready to close here, because everybody asks 3 questions. The 3 questions everybody asks about one another. 1, can I trust you? You cannot have a relationship if you can't trust each other. And I tell you, we got to make sure that our viewers can trust us, that we're going to do the right thing. We're going to be fair, honest, ethical. Now, the only way I know you can ever build trust is if both sides does the right thing. That's why you had rule number 1, do what's right. Because if everybody does the right thing, you're going to have a trust. With trust, you have a chance. The second question everybody asks, are you committed to excellence? Do you want to be good? I'll tell you this about Mark May. I've never been around anybody that makes better preparation than he does, unless maybe it's Kevin. I've only been with Kevin 7 or 8 weeks, but that guy is the most thorough, comprehensive individual and well-prepared. We're totally committed to excellence. The only way that can be answered if you do everything the best of your ability, not because somebody's looking. And the last question everybody asks, do you care about me? That's what the viewing audience wants to do. Do you care about us? I personally think, and on the show, and I keep looking at, we should take 4-minute segment. Give me 2 minutes to do a Dr. Lou segment, which was exceptionally popular, and people talk about it today. Give Mark May 2 minutes to do May Day or whatever it is. This guy is fantastic. We got to do something that differentiates us from the other TV shows that may be on there. That all of a sudden, hey, this is going to be special. Let's look in there. Did you hear about that when they're talking over the water show? So all I'm saying to you is when you look about investment, and if there's no money, there's no cost. That's what it comes out to. But I promise you can trust us totally. We're totally committed to excellence, and we're going to care about you, the investor. We're also going to care about the audience. We're going to care about one another. As I get ready to close, I want to do a simple little trick for you. Now, one of my goals that I learned how to do years ago was how to do magic. See, there isn't any such thing as magic and building a winner, building a successful show or anything else. Just like any other newspaper, you have front page for people who read the news. You have a comic for people who can't read. And we have the editorial page for people that can't think. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to take 2 people. I want you to take somebody you love, admire, and respect. Take somebody you got a problem with. Put these 3 questions on both people. Simple, yes or no. Can you trust them? Yes or no. Are they committed to excellence? Yes or no. Do they care about you and the organization? Yes or no. I used to do this phone book when I was younger. I got horrible buttons. I want to make sure the sucker's torn up. Now, I guarantee you, the person you admire and respect, you just said yes to all 3 questions. The person you got a problem with, you pinpointed the problem. If you can't trust them, they aren't committed, or they don't care. So there isn't any such thing as magic, and anything you do as I say. Let me get that last page open. That's right there. And so if I say, you do that perfectly, I thought. But it didn't. No nice frame because I can't figure it out. We appreciate you being here. We appreciate the supporters. We appreciate the investors, and we're going to do everything we can to make this the very best show. And I hope you enjoy the board. I leave you with this very last thought. I'll be happy for an hour, eat a steak. I'll be happy for a day, play golf. I'll be happy for a week, go on a cruise. And me going on a cruise like being in jail because maybe you have a chance to drown, but if that's what you want to do. I'll be happy for a month, buy a new car. I'll be happy for a year, win the lottery. I'll be happy for a lifetime. Make sure people would miss you if you didn't show up. And the people you miss are those you can trust, committed to excellence and care. Mark Twain said, the 2 most important days in your life. One's the day you're born. The other's the day you discover why you're born. We discovered we're basically born to help other people. And if we didn't show up, people would miss us. We want to have a show. If we went off the air, people say, wow, we missed that show. Because you missed the ones that are different and separate than any others. Appreciate the opportunity to be here. I am going home tonight to be with my wife, but I'm glad I could be here tonight. Thank you for the support. Great to be with you, Mark, and with Kevin.